Well, hello. How are you? Welcome to another episode of the Short, Pale, and Handsome podcast. I am your boy, Loy Lee. Today is June 3rd. Yes, it is. How are you? How's your ma? Tell her I said hello. Today is, I took last week off. You know, I wanted to take a moment to commemorate Memorial Day. I wanted to take a moment to reflect and see how I feel on the inside. Take a few moments to remember those who have paid the ultimate price and their families who had to endure all of that as well. So shout out to all of the veterans, past, present, and those who will be enlisting as well. You know, you are paying the ultimate price that I could never ask for from another person. So it's something that I couldn't do. So shout out to you, shout out to you, shout out to you. We appreciate you. In a world where craziness is happening, both foreign and domestic, I appreciate your fight to allow me to have a podcast and present it as if it is like a national address. Regardless of the scale, you are still appreciated. Happy Memorial Day. People are like, well, Memorial Day is for the day to remember the people that have passed, and Veterans Day is to remember all the veterans. I'm like, I don't want to make that distinction. If you fight for our country, or will, I salute you. If you are a family member of those fighting for my freedom, shout out to you too. And that's Memorial Day. June 7th, I will be on the National Mall. I will be placing some wreaths down in the, because June 6th is D-Day, the 75th anniversary of storming of Normandy, the turning point of World War II, the fight against the Nazis. So that's a big deal, 75 years later. And 75 years later, some of the Filipino war veterans are still not given what they were promised, and they're still fighting for that. So I will be on the National Mall as both commemorative and in protest. Maybe I shouldn't be doing them at the same time, but I'll be wearing a pin of the Filipino infantry, the gold bull's head, like the water buffalo. I forget the actual name. My wife is very specific. And then I couldn't find the pin for the Lagana, which is like always first, but shout out to them. And then I'll also be wearing a badge for the 442nd, Go for Broke, the Japanese regiment that's like during the craziness, their family, everything was taken from them. They were put in internment camps, basically outdoor prisons. And spread across the country. They became the most decorated battalion ever. Not to get crazy, but I've watched a few documentaries. I know, don't act like you're not impressed. Shout out to the 442nd. Shout out to the 1st Battalion. Shout out to all veterans. And let's hope that you get what is due to you, what was promised. So that being said, how did you spend your Memorial Day? Did you have a few days off? Did you get a few beers in? Did you get a half tied off? Phenomenal. I hope you enjoyed that. What do I got going on? Memorial Day, check. So now that Game of Thrones is over, I was like, oh, what should I watch? What should I watch that's like, what can I binge now at this point? Like, I'm not trying to catch on. I'll be a bandwagon fan. I'm not trying to jump on to something that's like, oh my God, it's hot right now. Like, what's good that I haven't seen yet? And I was going to like, oh, maybe I should watch Sopranos again, but I've already seen it. Even though it's great. I was like, maybe I want something new. What about The Wire? Already saw it all the way through. Great. And I live 45 minutes down the street from The Wire. And I was like, nah, it's good. I've already seen it. And someone's like, you should watch Mad Men because you can watch it on Netflix. I was like, dope. Mad Men, let's do it. So I'm watching Mad Men. And the problem with this is it's not bad to where I have to turn it off. But it's not good. It's not great to where I'm like, oh, I'm riveted. Like I have to hang on every word. It's pretty slow, but the storyline's great. And I kind of like the peering into that time frame, you know, the 60s and people like living through the Depression, which is crazy. You know, just a thought. Like in the 60s, the Depression was in the 30s. So if you were in your 30s or 40s during the 60s, you lived through it. So it was interesting. It's like, oh, men had it really good back then, according to Mad Men. According to a TV show, we had it phenomenal back then. You know, we just had to pay the mortgage. That's it. That's what it seemed like. It just like come home, pay the mortgage, you know, step outside your marriage. It seemed like everybody was stepping outside their marriage in this show. Drinking, smoking, and sexing everybody all the time. And men had it good. Where it's like if some of these men didn't overreach their station and just like kept the house clean and just did some extra stuff, maybe we could live in that society where women was like, I just want to be a housewife. That's a thing. Now I'm almost 40 and I'm a housewife. Like my wife, she goes out to work every morning. She comes home with the paycheck. I clean the house. I cook dinner. I put on a nice apron and wear some nice pearls, quality pearls. And, you know, I like, this is great. I could live. If I didn't tell dick jokes at night, this would be the perfect, like, just work out, stuff my face full of bonbons, get half in the bag with some box wine, and cook dinner. That seems to be the life. But men, yeah, we just fucked it up somewhere. We fucked it up where we just sexed too much somebody else, and then we just drank too much everywhere else, and we just smoked too much, and women said, no, we want to do that too. It looks fun. We go, fuck. We fucked up. Maybe I should have came home on time. Maybe we should have downplayed it. Like, smoking's cool, but it's probably caused cancer. Drinking's cool, but, you know, it makes driving hard. I'm just saying, we had the height of it, and it was just too good. We got out of hand. But you know, Mad Men was actually interesting in the point of like it's like the 60s and marketing, and they're all wearing suits. Like I was like, oh, I should probably buy a few more suits and pick up smoking and pick up drinking. They literally drink like every scene. It's like medieval times. It's like Game of Thrones. Nobody drinks water in this. Everybody just drinks bourbon or some shit. Whiskey, scotch. They don't even really talk about it. I don't know. Are they drinking scotch? They're drinking whiskey? They're drinking bourbon? What are we drinking here? I want to be like them. I'm going to walk around the house in a suit. I'm going to vacuum the floors and cook dinner in a suit. But yeah, that's what I've been watching. I'm 2 seasons in. I'm already halfway through the second season. And, you know, it's on in the background. It's not engaging enough to where I'm holding on to every word, but it's on and where I kind of like look at it and go, oh, Don Draper's not Don Draper. Oh, spoiler alert, Don Draper's wife. Like the original Don Draper's wife is not Don Draper's wife. Interesting. Oh, Don Draper's a defector. I would have done the same thing. Call me a coward. But I was like, it's only... Never mind. Spoiler alert. I'm just saying, Mad Men, pretty good. A little dry, a little slow, pretty good. Pretty good to be on while I'm out here doing other things. I'm at home cooking and cleaning and doing my hair, and it's on in the background. Which is funny because I'm growing my hair out because I'm lazy. I haven't been to like the barber in like 2 months now. End of May. We're in the beginning of June. Okay, so a month and a half. And my hair is crazy. That's why if you're watching the video portion of this right here, then I've been wearing hats for all of them. My hair is crazy. Like, I don't have the typical Chinese straight hair. My shit, it's not even wavy. It's not even curly. It's like, it looks like, I don't even know. Some days it looks like Kramer. I'm like Mike Richardson. Or some days it's like Jon Snow. I can't predict my hair, man. But I'm growing it out. I'm like, Loy, just cut it. You're right, but I'm lazy. It's fine. So I just wear hats all of the time. I am wearing a Boston Bruins cardigan, right? I don't know what you call this, but got buttons. Looks like a Letterman jacket, but it's cloth. It's because the Boston Bruins are in the Stanley Cup final. Yes, if you're not familiar, if you don't watch hockey, it's fine. But Boston, we're doing it. We're doing it. We took the first game. They beat the shit out of us in the second game in overtime. But they just were mollywopping us, dragging us around the ice, and the refs were allowing it. It looked like a domestic violence dispute, and the cops were just eating donuts, just not paying attention. It was an action-packed, hard-hitting game if you were a Blues fan. If you're a Bruins fan, it was infuriating. But Game 3, my cousin and I went to the local Irish pub, and we watched Game 3. And it was a mollywhopping of the other kind. It was 7-2. It was literally 5-0 going into the third period. And you're like, oh, Loy, I don't pay attention to hockey. I'm just saying, 5-0. We ended up 7-2. It was a great game, but at some point you're just kind of like, listen, guys, save some of it for the next game. 7 goals. They had to pull the other team, the St. Louis Blues, had to pull their goalie. Sorry, I hear beeping. I don't know. My house is going to go on fire. I don't know. But the Blues had to pull their goalie because he had 5 goals scored on him. And then they brought in another goalie with like almost no game experience who, funny enough, was in the Bruins Farm League as a loaner. I know. What does that even mean? The St. Louis Blues last year were like, hey, we don't have a farm league. Can we just give you this goalie so he can get some playing time? And they allowed it, which is crazy. It's like, and last year you're like, yeah, the Blues, you don't even have a farm team. You don't even have a farm league. Why would we think that you could be a threat at some point? You are obviously a Bush League organization that doesn't have a good farm league, and we need to use your goalie just to help you out. Sure, why not? It seemed like a good Samaritan thing, and next thing you know, they are facing him in the final, which is fine. We scored 2. They scored 2, 7-2. It's fine, no big deal. But yeah, I was getting a little stressed out. I was like, okay, guys, okay, let's not get hurt. Hey, careful, everybody, take your time, just relax. After 5 goals, you're kind of like, hey, it's okay. It's okay. I'll throw some pads on. I'll throw some skates on. Let's do this. I'm not trying to get anybody get hurt. We got 2 more games. We got 2 more games, people. Let's not stretch this out. But it was fun. It was fun to watch, and just it's weird being like really the only hockey fans in a place, even though the Capitals won last year. Everybody was a hockey fan. All of a sudden, everybody was a hockey fan. Now, nobody's a hockey fan. Okay. I feel like you watch the Super Bowl, even though your team's not in it. Shout out to all the teams who never make the Super Bowl. You still watch it, right? And don't lie to me. Don't say, oh, it's because it's the commercials. It's the halftime show. Get the fuck out of here. You're watching it because you like football. It's the only game on. If you like hockey, it's the only game on. Watch it. And we were the only ones watching it at this Irish pub. And it was fun. It was good times. And we looked good. I was afraid that we get a little shell shock, a little PTSD from just getting dropped on our heads, bitch slapped around all 3 periods last game. But we came out, scored a couple quick ones, scored a couple like, oh, that's interesting goals, which happens. But we look good. So 2 more games, and we're bringing the Lord Stanley Cup back to Boston. It's been a while. We have not had a Stanley Cup final championship since 12, maybe? 11? 12? I forget. I know we went and we lost to the Blackhawks in Game 6. We lost. We gave up like 2 goals in the last 60 seconds of the game. That hurt. But it happens. So here we are, St. Louis Blues. Check out the last 2 games, and we'll see how that goes. What else? Mad Men, check. Boston Bruins, check. Memorial Day, check. Oh, geez. We were watching boxing. Anybody watch boxing out there? Like, oh my God, Loy, are you just going to talk about sports the whole time? Yes, maybe. That's all I got going on in my life. I was watching boxing and the Anthony Joshua fight. That was crazy. So Anthony Joshua is this heavyweight from England, black guy, not relevant, but from England, and he was trying to fight his last fight, whatever, and he got like a last minute replacement, right? This dude named Andy Ruiz Jr., and he literally looks like he works at basically anywhere. He looks like he works anywhere in Southern California because, yes, he's Mexican. That's fine. But literally, he's got dad bod. He does not look like an athlete at all. It looks like he's a guy that works at a cell phone store or fucking Best Buy. He sold you your car or washed your car or delivered your food. Like, he does not look athletic at all. He looks like he just rolled out of bed. It reminds me of UFC in its early day, like Tank Abbott, where he rolls into the cage and you're just like, damn, what bar did they pull this guy out of? Like, he literally just got off a bar stool and then walked to the arena, and they go, hey, you want to box? He goes, yeah, I'll box. They put some, not saying he's bad. I'm just saying, first look, you go, hey, this guy is a heavyweight champion of the world. And I find that weird that I have to specify a heavyweight champion of the world. That's fine. No big deal. But he was going up a last minute replacement for Anthony Joshua, who was supposed to be one of the greats of our generation. He's supposed to be one of the best boxers out there. He was supposed to he's in the talks of fighting Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder for like the big money fight, like the fight that you're gonna see the poster on T-shirts generations to come. He's supposed to be like the fight, like Thriller of Manila 2019, not Muhammad Ali, not Frazier, not in the Philippines, but it was supposed to be that big of a fight, right? It's the fight that everybody wanted to watch. Nobody's going to see it now because Anthony Joshua got the lights turned out on him. Not really. He got knocked down twice, and then he just kind of had that glazed over look, and then the ref was like, oh, you don't want to do this anymore, do you? Okay. All right, I'll call it off. Okay. And Anthony Joshua just had that like, yeah, call this shit off. I don't want to do this shit anymore. And believe it or not, he's a heavyweight champion. And believe it or not, he might be the Andy Ruiz Jr., a.k.a. the Destroyer, is the first Mexican heavyweight boxer champion of all time. First heavyweight Mexican. I can type with one hand. Mexican boxer. Yeah, you're like, oh, Lloyd, learn how to type. Yeah, heavyweight boxer. Yeah, it's looks like it's saying Andy Ruiz Jr. becomes the first heavyweight champion of Mexican descent. Shout out to Junior Dos Santos, who was like the first heavyweight champion of combat sports, Mexican champion like of all the combat sports in the UFC. But Anthony Ruiz Jr., he got all of the belts. Is that how that worked? Happened one of box upsets. Joshua shares of the heavyweight championship Saturday night. Yeah, it looks like he got a shit ton of belts all of a sudden. seized the opportunity and made boxing history to win the WBA, IBF, WBO, IBO championship. Holy shit. He won 4. He became the first Mexican descent heavyweight boxer, winning 4 titles in one night. Good fucking for him. And he is literally the guy that looks like he's the bouncer at an Acapulco or an El Toro. He is, congratulations to him. That's fucking awesome. But the problem is now, the big money fight, nobody wants to see him win against Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder will mess this kid up, hands down. And I'm not trying to underestimate him. I'm just saying Deontay Wilder was going to mess up Anthony Joshua, and this kid messed up Anthony Joshua. I don't see it happening. But I don't think it's a big money fight. And if they were smart, they're like, hey, we should probably see if we can't turn this around for Mexican holiday real quick, which is what, September? Excuse me. So yeah, that's very, very exciting. And, you know, maybe because Anthony Joshua overestimated him because, A, it looks like he should be overestimated. It looks like this guy overestimates his appetite every day. Like, it didn't look like he worked out. I mean, obviously he does because he just knocked out the WBA, IBF, WBO, IBO, ABC, BBD champion. So obviously he works out, but it doesn't look like it. Like he says, don't underestimate this little fat boy. Well, fuck me, right? I'm proud of him, man. That's crazy. The first Mexican. Okay, that'd be done. Watch it. It was a good fight. You know, I think he got knocked down. Yeah, he got knocked down. He got up, knocked Joshua down twice, and just rang his bell. And Joshua wanted nothing to do with it. So that is where I am for boxing. Yeah. And now that just goes to show where is boxing going to go? Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Ruiz. Anthony Ruiz now has a target on his back because he's got 4 of the belts. It's time. It's time. He came in 11-1 underdog. That means if you put $100 down, just $100, you would have made $1,100. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. And at this time, I was watching the UFC fight. I was watching Anthony Smith beat Alexander Gustafsson, and Alexander Gustafsson retired because he just doesn't have it anymore in him, I guess. And that's always sad to watch a UFC fighter lose and then retire. We saw it coming because he was like taking the belt, taking his gloves off and everything like that. And it's sad. It's definitely sad watching. You always want to watch, especially a great fighter like Alexander Gustafsson. He got choked out, I think, in the 3rd round, maybe. And during the interview, he was like taking his gloves off, and that's usually the sign, like, hey, taking the gloves off, I'm leaving the gloves in the cage, and I'm out. And it's always sad to see it when it happens when you lose. You're just such a great fighter. So shout out to Alexander Gustafsson. I hope it's not over, but I get it. I mean, who wants to get kicked in the face for a living? Who wants to get choked out for a living? Not I. I barely want to tell jokes for a living. I just don't really have a better option. I'll just keep on how many times can I vacuum this apartment before my wife goes, oh, I need you to do more. Yeah. So shout out to Alexander Gustafsson. What else I got going on? What time are we at? We are at 24 minutes. Okay. Anthony Joshua, Memorial Day, Mad Men, Boston Bruins. Leonardo DiCaprio, people. This is the interesting about Leonardo DiCaprio. Right now, he is under fire for what people perceive to be predatorial habit. Like, he is dating a lot of women that are like half his age. He's probably in his 40s and he's dating like 20-year-olds, and people are upset about it. You know, that's like very pedophilia-ish, right? It's like, I mean, technically he's 2 years over the limit. I mean, it's better to be 2 years over the limit than like R. Kelly and like 6 years under the limit, right? Maybe I was making those numbers up, but maybe. I don't know. But he, so, you know, it's like Leonardo DiCaprio. It's like, and I'm reading The Scorched Earth, which never read the comments. All of the funny humor is in the comments, but like all of the dark things are there as well. So I do my best to not read it, but scroll through it, right? And mostly women are like, oh my God, a grown man should know better, and a grown man, you know, shouldn't be messing with women half his age. But it's like, when I grew up, like, you know, in high school, 18-year-old girls were dating, you know, 30-year-old men. Like, I feel like this is nothing new. Maybe, and I was like, oh, maybe it's just my high school. Maybe it's just like, oh, you're the one way out of this little town. And like, no, I've traveled the world. I've seen it. Like, it's common. 20-year-olds, 21. I mean, would it be any better if Leonardo DiCaprio was dating a 22-year-old? Add 2 more years? Does that make it better? I bet you it doesn't. I mean, he's 40. I mean, listen, people. People get rich and famous, right? And people go, oh, people are rich and famous because they want to be rich and famous. Like, yeah, that's the easy one. But no, we become rich and famous so we don't have to grow old. You could just keep on dating 20-year-olds, you know? Like, maybe he's just putting on an act. Maybe he is the kid from What's Eating Gilbert Grape. Maybe he's Arnie Grape. And he's such a phenomenal actor. He's just acting normal. He's just acting like, that's a horrible word, Loy. Maybe he's acting like an adult, or like he's acting like he's not Arnie Grape. But the whole time he's Arnie Grape. That's why he was so good at such a young age. I was like, wow, that kid really nailed it. Maybe that's him. Maybe. And he's just putting on an act. He's like, oh, I can't let people think badly about me, so I'm just going to act like a movie star. Maybe that's his emotional maturity, is 20 years old. I don't know. 20 is not bad. And I say this because I don't have a 21-year-old daughter. I don't have a 20-year-old daughter. I don't have an 18-year-old daughter. I don't have a daughter. The closest thing I have is like a 28-year-old sister. That's the closest thing I got. And I see pictures of her and go, okay. Doesn't bother me, and she's an adult, right? Legally, she's an adult. Doesn't bother me. But people are really upset. Really, really upset that all he's dating is 20-year-olds. And I'm like, that's the reason why he's rich and famous. That's why he didn't aspire to have his own insurance company. That's why he's not working at Best Buy, just schlepping it out at T-Mobile. He's like, oh, I want to figure out how to fuck 20-year-olds for the rest of my life. He figured it out. You know, I don't know. I think with all the other crazy things that people probably don't care. I mean, if I was 20, I dated a 30-something-year-old when I was 20 once. And I just realized, like, oh, she's treating me like a child, and I am 20 years old. I am a man. I fucked it up. Because that's where my brain is like, I don't want to be taken care of. I'm a man. I take care of myself. I'm supposed to take care of you. And she's like, listen, I'm literally making more a month in alimony than you make in a year. Let me take care of you. And I'm like, no, let me buy you dinner. And she goes, I don't want you to buy me dinner. I want to take care of you like a child. And I fucked it up. She literally bought me a car. Like, just not in my name. She's like, oh, you said you had car troubles. I lied to her. This is what it was. I lied to her. It's like, oh, I can't come out tonight because my car troubles. And I was really just drinking with buddies, down the street from my house. And like 2 weeks later, she comes and buys me a Mercedes-Benz. And she's like, yeah, I mean, you're on the insurance. You're not on the lease, but you're on the insurance. I don't even know. I don't even know if it was a lease. I just made that up right now. But she's like, yeah, your name's on the insurance. So she gave me the keys. And like 3 weeks later, it's like, I'm a man. I can't have a woman pay for me. It's like, I was like coming straight out of Mad Men. I don't know. I'm a fucking idiot. I'm just saying that's why people get rich and famous. So they can just do whatever the fuck they want within legal limits. R. Kelly, not acceptable. Leonardo DiCaprio, way more acceptable. And it's not a black and white thing. Literally a black and white thing. It's like literally an age thing. If R. Kelly was fucking 20-year-olds and having 20-year-olds pee on him, I'm sure it wouldn't be a problem. But the problem is he's having 12-year-olds pee on him. That is legally a problem. My mind's telling me no, but my body's telling me yes. Great story, bro. What is the law telling you, huh? You should probably listen to whatever the law says because that's going to fuck up a lot of your time in the future. Spoiler alert. I don't want to hurt nobody. I don't remember the rest of the words. But on that note, guys, I appreciate you. Check out the video portion of this podcast on YouTube. www.youtube.com/loyleecomedy. And I definitely appreciate you. And check out my Patreon account. This episode is brought to you by my Patreon account. Shout out to patreon.com/loyleecomedy. Follow me on all the social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, @loyleecomedy. And I appreciate you. Please give this a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell, put a comment. Tell me where you're from. Tell me where you're at. Tell me your hopes and dreams in the comments below. If you're listening to the audio portion of this, we have a video portion. If you're watching the video portion, we have an audio portion. Details in the comments below. But it's basically anywhere you find podcasts, Short, Pale, and Handsome, it's there. Please, wherever you are listening or watching this, please comment. I really do appreciate it. 4 stars, 5 stars, 1 star, 2 star, 3 stars, 4. Whatever it is. Whatever you do, please comment. It is greatly appreciated regardless. So thank you very much. And I love you. Okay, bye.